Hello, this is Plum Silver, and I'm going to do the Grand Tableau for Canada. Now, the card that you pick, usually a subject, you could pick any cards in there that would represent what you think of Canada. Well, obviously, we know it's a tree, a leaf, the maple leaf. So I pick the tree. Now, just right away, the tree has a snake, the house of tree, and also the tree is in the mice. Deteriorating, breaking down, deceptive. We've been lied about really what all this is about. And do we trust what's been given to us, the information? You see, the writer and the writer here, we've got the dog. Do we trust it? Do we trust this information? This information about Canada or constitution or everything that has been sort of changed over the years, even with Trudeau, father who created the charter, or he was the one who brought the Charter of Rights, which is written to give the rights to the government, not to keep human rights, like the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights, that's all you needed. But they needed to create a new one because they want to create a socialist, communist kind of, well, under the new title of socialist, it's like, oh, we're so nice, we take care of people. No, it's to give power to the government. And they really showed through the pandemic that that's what they did. Trudeau here, this little weak puppet there, in the House of Lady, and in the cloud, he's definitely confusing. He make it look like he cares, but it's not true. He's a puppet. Yeah, he pushed the button on the wrong people by saying, what are we going to do with the unwilling? Well, because we know that in the Constitution or in the law, what's written here, the tower, is in trouble. Everything that has been written by them. And they took a chance to create this charter, right? They wanted to bring that out because they wanted to have more power. You see, the bear is above here, the book here. And just below you got the lily. So in the House of Book 2 it told me, pay attention here because it's got some very negative cards. What's been written here, you better break it down, this information. You better go and look into it. And, look at your Bill of Rights. And why is the Bill of Rights is still valid? Because in the Supreme Court and everything, when they were trying to bring the Charter right, they could not eliminate the Bill of Rights. One province voted out about the Charter, right? And it's Quebec. Yeah. Pretty amazing. And then that kind of, you basically say, well, the Bill of Rights could be used. So you go to court for anything federal, the Bill of Rights is still above the Charter, right? The Charter, right, will, like, if you try to use it, you will find yourself into a trap. Because it's going to give power to the government. They're always going to find an excuse. We do this, we're basically guilty before you can't even, you're guilty right away. That's how they say you're guilty and you have to prove yourself wrong. And then the individual, it's always for the greater good. So that has to be understood by people. It's like, we thought this was a great gift, how this was all created. This book thing is telling me, pay attention to this here, and it has to take a new direction. We have to set our goals more straight. We need to anchor this understanding, this knowledge better, because they're going to cut away this man who's been sort of puppet to become this government that is just basically passive. Be passive, You see that government, this is what Trudeau with his with all his, everything he says is to just always be passive and passive. The masculine force has to come back because we've got in the House of Gentlemen the fish. And the fish, we've got the King of Diamond, a powerful King of Diamond is like the one. He's got energy and he needs to be bringing that force to make a country strong. We have the house in the House of Bird here. We got the mountain in the House of House. We've got an enemy in the house. And this is the main subject because it's the breakdown of what's going on in the country. It might end up splitting. It's not clear where we're going. At the heart of this, we know we have an enemy. And that enemy here is in the center here. We need to remove it. But there is definitely a group that has a force that is working towards that to really cut away. You can't even make it. It's like, you try to pass this guy. I mean, have you ever looked at this side card? Look at it. It's like, oh yeah, come here. A very sharp point. You're not gonna make it. You can't. You can't. It's clearly going there. But you know, at the root of the tree, which is kind of cool when you think of it, because this is the card of Canada. You know, the maple tree, maple leaf, and you know it's breaking down. We're breaking it down. Well, we might end up breaking it. There's not going to be a bigger, a big. We're breaking down also the contracts, the agendas, or the maybe the provinces are going to sort of breaking down because it's all going to get twisted. It's a big government is trying to overreach over everything. Now every province, kind of like the way United States, it's going to be in districts. It may be, you know, different states, they work differently. To have that choice locally, people are much more empowered instead of having a big government that keeps everything so confusing for the public. It wants to grow to, you know, recreate a government and change things. And it's going to be kind of like sneaky for a while, you know, it's eventually it's going to get clear because that what's in the cloud, this big government that asks you to be passive and keep everything vague and, you know, it's just no direction. You need a force, like in the House of Gentlemen, you got the fish, you need a force that, a consciousness that wants to sort of bring things much more clear. Well, they're not. They're wishy-washy. It's all over the place. He talks like anything, you know. He attacked the wrong people when he said, "What are we doing with the unwilling?" You know, during the pandemic. That was a big mistake. But then again, at the same time, it wasn't a big mistake. It was a favor because I woke up big time. Like, I never paid attention to Canadian politics before, but man, did he con us. And man, did he reveal his true color. And then I looked into the Bill of Rights, and because through the pandemic, I had to know more about the law because I realized, oh my God, we need to know our law. We need to know what's going on, what's written. People had to start reading a little bit more. You see, because when I saw the dog there in the House of Rider, and I said, I need to go see what's in the House of Dog. And then we got the lily just below here, you know, and it's just standing below there, saying, you know, with the lily under, usually when you do method of distancing, you need to find what cards are close to this subject. And I would say that gives me an idea that the Bill of Rights or the Charter right needs to be looked into, because I had to pay attention to this. And it makes sense to me. You see, and also the cross here, this is in trouble, the government is in trouble, the things that have been written down, laws, and that is in trouble. It has to change for the public to be much more humanitarian. You know, it has to take another path. This old path has to end, and a new path has to be growing. At first, it's not. It looks like we're going to put some light to it. It's going to get more confusing, so it's not going to be clear for a little while. But it's in a very short time, you see, because we've got the whole grand tableau. When you look at it in the House of Mice, you know that where things are breaking down, well, it's in the House of Mice. And the mice are in the letters. So it's how things are going to be, well, maybe how we're going to vote, but also we need to inform ourselves more. The public has to inform itself. At the top here, for things to change and to move, you see the public is the park here. They need to inform themselves. They need to know who's the enemy in the house. In the house is right there. So this is a big subject, and this is a new war. This is like a battle of like back and forth with who we're going to be choosing, because I don't even think that it may be that clear. There's really not that much choice, and not that great either. So things are going to be broken down. It's going to get more confusing before it gets clear. That's from this what I'm seeing. And you know, yeah, we're going to need to shine a lot to see at the top here as we're cutting things, and it's really dark what's going on top of it, but on top it says, if you want to take this new direction and you want to start seeing clearly and see who is behind all this, you're going to need to talk about this. Yes, it will be stressful. You're going to need to start really looking at who's in the house, the enemy. These conversation has to happen, and you need to read a lot more about the law, because we need to recognize where that fox is, that gift that we think, you know. Oh, okay, so maybe that's interesting, because you see, we got the fox in the bouquet. There's a gift here. and it's in the house of fish. So who wears the fish? It's in a gentleman. So that could be also our consciousness to start becoming much more aware with the help of a king, a powerful son. I see the king of diamond. This is my trump card, by the way. But I think it's the allies that, the ones that are sort of trying to bring this, new consciousness. We need to pay attention because it's a force that's definitely going to grow, and it's the gift right under it. So that's interesting that we have. I had to go look at the fish. I just realized that. Okay. Because in the bouquet here, it's the fox is in the house of bouquet. So they're related. And that fox, in the house of fox, we've got the moon, and in the moon we need to cut. So we really need to cut at this to see who's in charge here, because that's an important factor here that has to be looked at. There's a lot of negative card around the tree here. We've got the clouds, and things have been contained, or something is ending. All this is ending, all this information, it has to end so we could grow and, like really see what was all hidden behind. And yeah, okay. So, and then, in the House of Snake, you got the tower, and the tower has the trouble, and then, and then we got a child. So this is like all new things, that innocence that we think, oh, Canadians so innocent and stuff. They're too passive. We need to be stronger, and okay, so this is Canada, and I also did the tarot cards for it, okay, and I'm just going to show them because I like doing these tarot cards for it. At the pass here, we've got the Devil card. In the center, what people think, oh, we're a beautiful little family all together, the 10. Oh, isn't that interesting? This is like what people think. But there's going to be a brutal justice here with the Queen of Swords, and it's definitely going to trying to be much more recreating itself, and it's going to evolve. And we're not so sure. It might end up splitting because we've got a 2 of 1, because we're going to end up like finding our truth, and we're going to be on a quest to finding more truth. This little family unit here having this heavy devilish card at the top. It's like, oh my God, we need to get out of this trap. We trapped ourselves. Look at this card. And then there's something that's going to try to bring to help. And we better grab this opportunity, because in the past we were trapped in, like in this patterns, these sort of routines, and to believe that everything was like all beautiful. This was a delusional way of thinking of how we were in Canada, and we definitely need to spark up. And I think Canada will show this. It's in trouble. The Grand Tableau is really showing it's in trouble. The house, the tree, the enemy, the tower, the institution, the snake, and the stake, and the tree. I mean, you can't get more clear than that. And then you got a government that is just a passive little fool. Yeah. Things are changing. It's definitely going to be moving. Anchor, it's going to be moving to something much more wise and new, but it's going to cause a lot of trouble to what's going on in the government right now. And the center here just shows you at the heart of it, this is going to be a battle, big battle to change things, to move to a different level. Okay, hopefully you like this, and that was Canada, Grand Tableau. I should do the United States after, because I could use the star. I'm going to give it a little break, but I felt called to do this one because I saw that Trudeau was in trouble. Plus, it's in the news too, a lot what's going on. And yeah, he really pushed the wrong button when he says, what are we going to do with the unwilling? Oh my God, that did it for me. All right, thank you.